And for the last company presenting a startup battlefield
Brian.
at Disrupt
I'm gonna go lease some
2022
Brian land now.
from Waterloo, Ontario, Swap Robotics. Presenting for Swap Robotics is Tim Lichty. Come on out, Tim.
Hello, everybody. My name is Tim Lichty. I'm the co-founder and CEO of Swap Robotics. And our mission is to make outdoor work equipment 100% electric. The outdoor world needs to be maintained, but there are two main problems today. Firstly, traditional equipment is gasoline or diesel-powered, and there's a long-term labor shortage. To help solve this problem, we first developed 100% electric robots for sidewalk snow plowing, and it went well. In our second year of operation, we had 12 robots in paid commercial operation in Canada. We charged several $1,000s per robot per month. We were going, just through one, thanks. We were going to do, with the same robots, we were going to do sports field cutting, but we kept on hearing that these massive 1,000-acre solar farms were a huge headache to maintain. When we looked deeper into the problem, we discovered a few things. Today, solar energy is the cheapest form of new energy generation. And by 2040, it's expected that the #1 power source in the world will be solar. And after a solar power plant is built, the biggest expense is actually cutting the vegetation and the grass on site. When we looked at the technical perspective, we discovered a few unique challenges to cutting solar sites. Firstly, drivelines limit typical equipment, and that equipment needs to go underneath the panels and around the I-beams. And a special cutting deck is needed to cut the especially long and thick grass and vegetation on solar sites. A regular cutting deck won't do it. And this is so much fun to show. Our solution was robotic vegetation management for solar farms. But long term, it is so much more. We've developed a powerful modular platform for not just grass cutting and snow plowing, but dozens of different operations. And you can keep it there. Our in-house hydraulics platform drives the grass cutting deck and the snowplow attachment today, and long term, it can do dozens of different use cases. Our quick attach system makes switching attachments quick and easy. The tops can be swapped, enabling dozens of different use cases long term. And batteries can be swapped in 5 minutes, enabling near 24/7 operation. This alone can triple monetization. The robot can hold over 1,000 pounds of load, enabling use cases that require extremely heavy loads. And getting back to solar, we've developed the world's first 100% electric rough cut deck that is especially made to cut down that thick vegetation that grows on solar sites that can be as thick as 2 inches in diameter. And Tony's going to show the difference between a rough cut blade and a finish cut blade. You can see the rough cut blade is 10 times the mass. Thanks, Tony. We also developed the world's first 100% electric grass cutting deck that is able to offset, and it can offset up to 6 feet to get underneath those panels and around those I-beams. The solar world had never seen anything like this. We launched Solar Cuts in mid-2022. There was so much pent-up demand that within 60 days of launch, we had over $9 million of signed agreements. Not LOIs, signed agreements. So let's take a look at this robot. Cut to demo, please. The robot has 6 emergency stop buttons, 360-degree cameras and sensors, 2-way audio, night lights, and even heated windshield wipers for operation in snow. And thanks, thanks, Spencer. Cut to presentation, please. By the way, we only have one competitor in the market. We've gone up against them 3 times since launch, and we've won every time. Our solution is more robust. So I'm the CEO. I've grown 4 companies, each from $0 to at least 6 figures of revenue. We have 4 co-founders with industry experience in autonomy, mechanical, electrical, and software engineering. And we're the perfect team for a market with exponential growth. And in fact, the solar vegetation cuts market globally by 2024 alone is expected to be $50 billion. When considering that this is just our launching use case and that there are dozens of different use cases, the total addressable market on a 20-year perspective is over $1 trillion. So we're attracting some major attention. And we're pleased to announce today that Solve Energy, the largest utility-scale solar constructor in USA, invested in us as of last Friday. And we also have investment from the largest solar vegetation cutter in Texas. And just in the last 24 hours, we've received 2 offers of further investment, each for 7 figures. So we started in snow, we graduated to solar, and we're building an outdoor work robotics platform. Join us in making outdoor work equipment sustainable. We're Swap Robotics. Thank you.
I need a mic for that. Jim, can we start with you?
Sure. Congrats, guys. Awesome. And you said you started 4 companies before. What did they do? And was one of them Roomba?
No, but we're talking with iRobot tomorrow. The first one was actually grass cutting when I was in university. I grew that to a few cities and a few hundred customers, and then from there did software companies.
So, and what is this replacing? Like, what do farmers do now? I mean, if this is such a huge problem, and then how would you scale this to integrate with the existing, infrastructure?
Yeah, absolutely. So the way that it's currently done now, the vast majority of it is done by humans on riding mowers and bobcats, and you can imagine it is not a fun job. In Texas, we saw that it was at 121 Fahrenheit. It's sun up to sundown. It's in rural areas. It's extremely hard to find people. The turnover is multiple times per year. It's just not a great job. So this can really get rid of that problem. Another challenge that a lot of these solar asset owners have, the 50 largest solar asset owners do a little over half of all acres in USA. And so typically they have dozens, sometimes even hundreds of sites. And it's a real pain because there aren't national companies that they can go to. So they have to be finding local people, making sure they have their permissions to get on site because it's fenced in, which is great for us. So there's a lot of challenges with that. This is something that makes their lives a lot easier.
Mar?
Yeah, I have a question. How do you sell these robots? I think you mentioned it's a service. So you go in and I assume you learn the terrain and train the robot. And how often do you have to do it?
Yeah.
Use the robot for another acre? How many robots per farm, basically?
For sure, so it is robotics as a service, and customers love that. They're used to paying a per acre price anyways, and so it's very easy to make an apples to apples comparison. They don't have to do any math. It's just we aim to save companies 15 to 20% from day one. They don't need to learn robotics. We take care of everything for it. In terms of the acreage that it can be cut per day, currently we're getting about 2 acres in an 8-hour day. We're really excited about that partnership with the largest solar builder in USA because they manage over 100 sites as well. And so when we can have the robots there operating 24/7, that's instantly tripling our acreage. And then long term, so if you run the numbers, depending on if there's downtime, that's about $12,000 to $15,000 per robot per month. We're running them extremely slowly right now. We expect to be within 1 to 3 years at more like $30,000 in revenue per robot per month. So the payback period is under 2 months.
Did you say 2 acres in an 8-hour day?
In an 8-hour day. So 6 acres per 24-hour period, you're getting into several hundred acres per month. And typically it varies from region to region, but typically about $100 an acre, but that's climbing quickly because 2 of the biggest expenses, labor, gasoline, they're going up.
And you said there were 1,000-acre farms?
So
or is that, I think they're smaller, but I don't know.
Most of them are actually larger.
Is it?
Yeah, and especially the new ones, they keep on getting larger and larger.
So you need a lot of robots.
You need a ton, a ton of robots. Okay. It's almost like the San Francisco Bridge. They can be there the entire time. When they finish at one point, they just go back.
Okay, I have one more question. How many acres total solar farms?
There's over 1 million acres in solar farms today. When you back into those numbers, the market right now is a little over $1 billion, but we're only 1-2% of the way on the S-curve for solar adoption. We just passed the first terawatt hour as humanity in the last few months. The second that took a few decades. Second terawatt hour is expected to take 3 years. We should be at 50 plus terawatt hours by 2040.
Okay.
You alluded to having only one competitor.
Yes.
Is that in the solar, automated solar farm mowing, for lack of a better word?
Yeah.
That's in that bucket.
Specifically in that bucket, and that's all their robots can do.
Okay.
Yes.
You also alluded to like all the different modules that you guys are planning to build or are building. We just talk about those.
Yeah. So to be sure, we want to be laser focused on getting to 100 million in ARR.
For how long?
Until we get to 100 million in ARR.
How long?
How long?
How long is that going to take?
I'm hoping 2 years.
Okay, so 3 years from now, what are the other modules?
That would be good.
Yeah. At that point, most of our focus will still be on then getting to $1 billion in ARR because the market will
So 5 years. What are the other modules?
Yeah, absolutely. So snow, over $20 billion market in the US and Canada alone. One of the things that this largest solar constructor wants to work with us on is actually the construction sites for solar themselves. Thousands of acres. It's going to cost hundreds and hundreds of billions of dollars to build these things. It's the definition of something that's repeatable, that it's in a controlled environment, that's massive scale, and that no one's around. That's just one example. Street sweeping, tree planting, all sorts. You take a look outside, anything that work equipment is doing, it should be made electric. And if we're going to make it electric, it probably can have the option for autonomous.
And taking your technology and what you're building from a controlled environment to a non-controlled environment, street sweeping, will you just talk about that transition and what needs to happen between now and then?
And that's the 5 year. There's lots of, there's billions of revenue we can do in controlled environments. So we want to be really shy around humans. I'd be happy to chat with you off stage about our strategy and some of those other verticals where there's a group that we're working with where we can do 1,000+ robots just with them for snow, but they're in areas where no one's allowed in. So.
When you talk about snow, are you talking about underneath the panels or talking about cleaning the panels?
Totally different use case. Sorry. If they're in areas in the north, they still have miles of roads and other areas to do. So that is available as well. But we're also talking about sidewalk snow plowing or just snow plowing in areas like small
Okay, so you're not talking about, someone still has to go clean the panels in these farms.
So someone still cleans the panels. That is actually one more use case we could do where we could have, you actually need to clean the panels well in North America at least. You need to have water because of the type of soiling that happens on them. It's not, we hear that a lot, it's less attractive than it seems just because the rain naturally takes care of it and the losses are less and less. Okay. But it is one more use case we could do.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is there any chance that for future solar farms, they'll just figure out how to put a substrate on the bottom so grass will not be a problem?
So everyone tries to do this. There's little pilots that happen, but think about in Florida, for example, the hurricane we had a few weeks ago. What happens when you have thousands of acres and hundreds of millions of dollars of assets that are on the ground that have electricity and that now don't have any substance and soil erosion because you've gotten rid of all the vegetation. One of the big reasons why they have to keep the vegetation is actually keep everything firm and together so it's not going to
and the root system prevents additional soiling from dust and wind, or from wind and pickup.
Sorry, I couldn't hear you.
Sorry, the root system of the vegetation specifically is what they need. They don't need the leafy greens,
yes,
but they need the roots.
Yes, yeah, for additional soiling, yeah. And also so they don't erode and fall away, yeah.
Is the design of it being electric, is that, I mean, there's a lot of reasons why that could be preferred. Is that a cost trade-off? Like, would it have been cheaper if it was gasoline, or it's actually a cost savings? And
yeah, so I'm embarrassed to say at the start, I thought that it would have made more sense to go gasoline because it requires a lot of energy. I'm so glad that our engineers were saying, we can do this electric because it's a lot of work to change that. And it's actually great cost savings. And the reason is because this is pretty energy intensive, and so you might be paying $50, $75 in gasoline per 8-hour time period. You're paying a fraction of that for the solar energy. So that's one part. But another thing is, some of our first investors for solar was the largest solar vegetation company in Texas. They have very hot weather, they have dusty conditions, and they were saying they were going to have to buy $1 million+ in new ICE gas and diesel equipment. it breaks down, the belts are brutal. You have a lot fewer moving parts by going electric, and it can handle the hot weather better.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Great. Thank you very much. Give them a round of applause.
Thank you so much. Thanks.
Go, guys.
I want to explain what's going to happen now. These judges are going to go in the back, and they're going to talk about all the companies. And then, like I discussed earlier, they're going to look at the company's potential for impact, either financially or socially.